anytime somebody does a show specifically dedicated to discussing kids media, they just seem to think it's the funniest thing in the world to just bring up sex.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it can be. So
yeah, it can be,
but yeah,
I find war crimes are funnier.
That's the thing about Animorphs in particular is like,
yeah,
it's really hard to call that for kids when it was written for kids. It was written for kids by adults that were like, kids can handle this.
Yeah,
we're talking war crimes.
I'll talk about this more when we get into the episode proper. But I was watching or listening to a plot description of the series earlier today while I was doing something else, and it had an audience, and there's literally a point where they start talking about something that happens in one of the books, and like two of the people in the audience just start chanting war crimes, war crimes, war crimes.
I think I know what video you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think my my banner profile on like half the sites I've been on for the longest time has been a graphic from one of my videos. It's the the more you know thing, and it just says Animorphs is about child soldiers.
Yeah. A lot of things are when you actually get down to it, but
Yep. Okay. I don't want to keep blowing the good stuff before.
Yeah, I'll start the show like in a bit. It's like Boygo can keep some of this preamble in. Sometimes we do this.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right.
We also don't know if Cody's gonna jump in or not, but I guess he can jump in whenever because he's got a young puppy and there's a very severe thunderstorm going on right now. So he said he'll be on when he can.
No. Yeah, my girlfriend has a dog that's like nervous about thunderstorms. It's weirdly adorable and also sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get the show started.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Modular Components, the only podcast where I'm your host, Buster. And with me is my other wonderful co-host, Simeon Scott.
Isn't that incorrect? Aren't you also like on a podcast with Wyatt?
I shut up. Anyway, we got a special guest today. Introduce yourself. Very wonderful guest.
I am Eric Ravenscraft of the Lord Ravenscraft YouTube channel and other writings online.
Yeah. No, here's the funny thing. I keep because I know you as Eric Ravenscraft on Bluesky, and I keep every time I try to Google your YouTube channel, it's like I remember watching your YouTube channel before, but it's like okay, but I still have to Google it just because it's like I have so many subscriptions. And then so every time I Google Eric Ravenscraft, I don't get the channel. I have to Google. I don't have to remember. Oh, it's Lord's Ravenscraft.
Yeah. I should think about that. I haven't SEO optimized myself.
I actually ran into a similar but different problem the other day where I went to Google the channel and Google auto completed Lord's Ravenscraft. So it gave
that is a channel, or that is a problem I've run into. Is a lot of people spell my name with the O instead.
I mean, I sometimes pronounce it with the O, so that might be the problem.
Yeah. Well, I think the last name is actually more common that way. Fun fact: the guy who sings "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" in the original animated, that guy's name is Thurl Ravenscraft, which is a way cooler name, in my opinion.
Thurl. That sounds like a name of an alien in a 60s comic book.
Right? Or like a knight. I could see a knight called Thurl.
Thurl, yeah.
Really, that's more lordish than yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we got Eric for an episode. Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I guess to just get into the nitty gritty, how did you start doing YouTube / what were your specific influences for start in terms of okay, I want to base off this before I go my own way?
Yeah. Well, so I'd love to say it was a pandemic thing, but truth be told, my first video was 2 months before the pandemic started, in January of 2020.
Yeah,
because it's the one that's listed as your first video on your channel, or has that since been changed around?
No, the first video on my channel should still be the first one that's on there.
Yeah, the Joker one.
The Joker one, yes. Like I think I nabbed the name Lord Ravenscraft years ago, just because I was started going by Lord Ravenscraft online, and I wanted to have it everywhere. But I didn't actually upload. Like, there's no backlog of videos older than that, which is funny because it'll say I started in 2016, but no. But no, that was my first one. I'd been writing on online for years prior to that. Like, I got my start professionally writing for Android Police, and I went to Lifehacker. I was freelance for a while. Eventually, I was at Wired. But no joke, like I'd always like written articles. And when you're writing an article, like you can get to about 2,000 words before people just don't care anymore. Like sitting and reading 2,000 words is like, I need to start dedicating part of my life to this. Like it needs to be a book or something. But just an article online, people aren't going to read that. But I started watching like YouTube videos, like video essays, and they were going on for like 2 hours. And I was like, wait, this is so much more. Like people are like sticking around for this. I'm sticking around for this. Mm-hmm. So you mean I could write the words and people would listen to them if I say them to people? Well, hell yeah. Why don't I do that then? So it kind of became anything that I cared about that was like worth more words than an article. I was like, what if I could make this into a video and try to do it that way? And then it snowballed from there.
That is one of the most unique impetuses for starting a YouTube channel I've heard in a while.
I appreciate that. It is also like a massive pain in the ass because like I don't want to just make garbage videos.
Yeah.
But like if I'm like, okay, this is a little bit too big for an article, let's make it a video. What that does is like multiply my work by 10.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I was thinking is like most people I think come from the vantage point of I have so much to say about this thing, this particular interest I have, so I'm just going to start saying words at a camera. And you rarely get people who come from writing first. So
yeah,
I think that probably is a huge boon to you as a video maker, that you like already understand how to form sentences that hook people and keep them interested.
Yeah, I think it's like it's one of those double-edged swords things. Like something I really struggle with is improvising. Like when I want to talk about something, I want to have my thoughts fully formed, or at least like have a coherent through line for what I'm saying. So that's why I started writing. But like I'll see people, like other people like there are folks on YouTube who are so much better at being consistent because they set up like a workflow. They have a camera set up and they have just a topic and maybe some notes and they'll write some jokes, but then they just perform it into a camera and figure it out in editing. And some of them are very, very good at it. Me, I try to just write notes and it just turns into a whole coherent narrative eventually anyway, because I can't stop writing the notes. Like I can't just do like just a couple words. So it slows down my process a lot, which is why you end up with like 6-month gaps in between my videos.
Yeah, well, people don't realize that like there's a lot of work that goes into these bigger videos, even at the most base level. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that when they get into editing it. Back when I was doing full production videos, I would always say like, "Oh, I think I'll have this done in about a month or two," and then it would be like 5 months later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I've been like thinking a lot about like kind of like length and production of video a lot, like both like behind the scenes and like presenting like length like in videos, and it's very like it like a lot of things like I feel like it's all time consuming. Well, like
a lot goes into it. Yeah.
And like, it's like too much sometimes, like especially if you want to make it like you want to impress someone by like getting like a cool graphic or like a cool edit.
Oh man, yeah, like you don't have to tell me twice because like I So I very briefly went to like a community college for television production because I was interested in film and everything, and like I grew up in like suburban Georgia. There was never going to be like a film school that I could afford to go to, but I was like, I'm going to learn like a little bit. And so like I learned basic video editing, I learned basic like graphic design, like really basic stuff, but just enough to know like when something sucks.
Yeah.
And so I have like the worst the worst combination of like wanting something to be really good but not having like the resources to execute or like the background to execute on it. And so part of what like I got interested in when I was first starting my videos was like I was really getting into Blender and like learning 3D animation, and I was like, I'm really enjoying 3D animation. I should use this for videos. But then what everyone else gets to do is put a title card by like opening up the text feature in Premiere or Resolve and type in the words and pick a font and go. Whereas I'm like, okay, let's design a whole 3D scene.
Yeah.
And it becomes like, you can see, like, I do that for all my thumbnails and everything. Like, probably the most ridiculous one is on my Homestar Runner video. I rebuilt a scene from Homestar Runner using like toon shaders in 3D.
Oh, that's not a screen cap. Okay.
That is not a screen cap. Yeah, like if you go to the end of my Homestar Runner video, like I try to do like a little bit of like behind the scenes in Blender and stuff, and like you can see the whole 3D scene that I didn't need to do that, man.
I know very little about Homestar Runner. I've seen like a clip or two, so I didn't watch that video, but I know the art style enough that I saw that and I was like, that's probably just like a screen cap. He put some nice text over.
Yeah, and like I did that because I used it for the title cards in the video, like the part 1, part 2, and everything. So like it wasn't completely wasted effort. If I was just doing it for the thumbnail, I would have done that.
Yeah,
but
and like, probably people who know Homestar Runner would have been way more impressed with it.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it actually reads as like a 3D scene until you get to the. I think it was like, yeah, like I don't know. I'd have to look back at the title cards, but like maybe it looks better. But regardless,
it's still impressive.
Yeah, that graphic design background definitely does also, I think, contribute to your success because your thumbnails, they aren't incredibly distinctive, but they have enough solid design language to them that like people will easily be grabbed by them if they're going to be grabbed by them. They look like the thing you're trying to get across, which a lot of people struggle with. I see very with like early YouTube work. And
yeah, I think like when I like look at other people's thumbnails, like there's always something like successful channels usually have something that indicates not just like what the video is, but who is making it. And like that's part of why you'll hear people talk about like you should have a face in your thumbnail. And like, yes, Mr. Beast has his face in every thumbnail. And that tells you that it is a Mr. Beast video. But like it doesn't have to be your face as long as people know who it is. And some people will use like a particular colored outline or a particular format of text or whatever.
Or maybe they have a little logo with like a thing that builds into the outline around that logo that goes in one of the corners. I've noticed a lot.
Yeah, like one channel like that I watch a lot, the Corridor Crew, they have like several different types of distinct things. They have like the yellow text on a black bar. They have the yellow outlines instead of white outlines. Sometimes they have their logo in the thumbnails. And then sometimes they have the faces of the guys who are in the video. But there's not like one guy that like his face has to be in every thumbnail.
Well, that's an advantage you really get by having a group channel.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, I do get like a distinctive face.
Like it does kind of bring up like a pet peeve I do have where it's like, I mean, like it's not like a bad thumbnail style. It's just like an aggressively just like kind of whatever thumbnail instead of just like face on the center or like person on the center and then the subject in the on the side. Like that's not like like especially with like the microphone holders, like it's not like a bad idea. It's like it's inherently not a bad idea. It's just like I just know something about it just annoys me. It's like less creative than like just like making like a fun image or like using a screen cap from the thing you're talking about and like sprucing it up.
Yeah, I've had to like get better at the thumbnails over time.
Everyone does.
Well, like so one funny story is that like my most popular video by far is the Liar's Dice one, which is kind of frustrating for me because I'm like that is probably the one that I have like the least good production value on.
Yeah, always that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was also like so that was my second video ever, and that one like obviously I put it up before I was ever monetized, and one day like a year after I had published it, it just started getting traction. Like it just shot up in views, and over the course of like a couple of weeks, it became possible for me to be monetized just based on that video alone. Like I don't think I had published anything for months, but that one took off. And this is why like I tell people like not to get too obsessed over like the particulars of their thumbnails or execution. That thumbnail that is on there is not the original thumbnail I had.
Oh.
I will put it in your chat here so you can see, but the thumbnail I had originally is so bad. It is just a wall of text that you can only kind of read. No face
like
at
there's
all.
no drop shadow. Yeah.
There's no. So like this is another like 3D text in a 3D environment. Like you can. This was so dumb at the time. I was so proud of the fact that you can see the reflection of the text in the water, which is not necessary for a thumbnail. Anyway, but it started taking off. Like I think I crossed like 500,000 views before swapping out the thumbnail.
Yeah,
like it was insane, and I was like, okay, you're doing really well. Do I really want to risk changing the thumbnail now? But I was like, no, this needs to change. This cannot be the face of my fucking channel.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm not going to put
the Squid Man.
Instead, I made it the Squid Man, which that's the other thing is I was like, I'm not going to put my face on there. I don't think my face from that video or in general is like the draw. But you know whose face would be great? And you know who's kind of doing the screaming YouTube face?
Yeah,
What about Davy Jones?
That's great.
But yeah.
That is actually the first video of yours I watched in preparation for this because it's your most viewed and because it was the first one that I was like, this is a topic I'm familiar enough with, but I don't know anything about the thing it's specifically talking about, so I can probably get some new information out of this.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you watching, and yeah, there's so much in that scene. I love it. I'm like starting to rewatch the Pirates movies again, and they are still so good.
Yeah, it's always nice to be reminded that those movies are just good. Like, I know there's people who don't like the latter two, and of course there's all the stuff to be said about Johnny Depp now, but like, in a vacuum, I think those movies are just phenomenal, the first three at least.
The first three definitely. I think, funny story, I think in that video I call it the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. That wasn't meant to be a jab. I genuinely just forgot about the others.
Funny story. The only one I've seen is the fifth one. So.
Oh my god!
Oh, we might need to fix that.
Yeah, I want to watch Black Pearl at least at some point, but just like I just haven't. I'm too busy watching the Blue Apes on Cannibal Isle.
It's valid. That's valid.
No, yeah, I literally just watched that like last night. So that's just
nice.
Yeah, it's on fresh on the mind.
Yeah.
You're saying?
Well, I was just saying, like, I was thinking, like, because I was having conversations with folks recently about, like, Lord of the Rings and how, like, that was such a huge moment for film where, like, just this unique moment of they made something that hadn't been made before and kind of, there used to be this idea in Hollywood that, like, certain ideas were unfilmable, like, you just couldn't make a movie out of it. And Lord of the Rings, like, really killed that idea. Like, there's nothing too grand. There's nothing too, like, difficult to shoot that you can't adapt. And I was sort of thinking that like if Lord of the Rings hadn't happened, I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean would have been that moment.
Mhm.
Like
they're
it's
around the same year, so
yeah, like Pirates of the Caribbean happened in 2003, Lord of the Rings started in 2001, but like there's something about like building this grand world and like creating like really creative looking armies and huge set pieces and like marrying CGI to like practical effects and everything that they both franchises did really well. That I don't know, I just really think highly of the Pirates series.
yeah.
Weirdly enough. So
I never internalized until now, like how much of a meteoric rise that was for Orlando Bloom. He went right from one mega trilogy to another.
he really did. Yeah. And like I don't even know if it would have been like causally linked, if that makes sense. Like he would have had to have been shooting Pirates like at least at absolute best, Fellowship of the Ring could have come out before they started shooting, but he would have had to have at least been cast before they knew he was like Lord of the Rings was going to be a hit. So like, just imagine knowing two of your next biggest projects were going to be all stars.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't also mention, like, there is that iconic moment of John Rhys Davies at like a press conference before they even started shooting the movie, being like, "This is gonna be bigger than Star Wars. Get ready."
I did not hear about that. Yeah, I that's another blind spot for me. Sadly, Lord of the Rings. I have the movies on DVD. I just need to like pop them in.
I've tried
That's
to
fair.
engage with the books so many times, and for whatever reason, they just don't click with me. I need to sit down and watch the movies at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the books are tough if you're not into like just like absorbing yourself in a world, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like because Tolkien will spend pages describing a tree.
Yeah,
So if
see,
you don't want to
that's the
hear,
problem
yeah,
I have with those books is like I can get engrossed in a world, but it has to be through characters and a story. If you're just gonna sit down and talk to me about how fucking cool Tom Bombadil is for 40 pages, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that.
and that's fair. Like I think everyone has like different things that they want to get out of books and like media in general, and that's totally fine. Like I think I have some friends who are like, for them, certain stories are like sitting down with a cup of tea on like a lazy Saturday afternoon. Like I am here to vibe, and so for them, efficiency would be the opposite of what they want. Like they want to just chill out and vibe for a while. So the kind of story that would appeal to you that is like about characters and like an engaging plot that like drives forward, that wouldn't be, well, their cup of tea. And in the same way, like something that is just like, hey man, we're just gonna chill here for a bit. We are gonna smoke some pipe weed.
And see, I think
Like,
that is definitely the problem because I
yeah,
don't sit down and read too much anymore.
yeah,
I primarily listen to audiobooks while I'm doing my day job. So I
yeah.
need something that's going to keep me engaged. Like I love Brandon Sanderson's work so much because he will like spend multiple chapters developing a character while keeping the story moving steadily. And then he'll
Hmm.
go like, "Oh, you're getting a little tired of this person, aren't you? Let's just do a little vignette over here for a chapter. Let's have fun."
Yeah. And I think that like something I think that I struggle with when like seeing how media is talked about online, especially, is that like I wish there was more of an acceptance for like different ways of engaging with media.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Because like for me, like I have to like different. I like different kinds of media for different reasons, and
mhm,
so it's like a bit like weird when it's like people are like, "Oh, I like this, but I hate this," and I like both of them for like different reasons. And it's
yeah.
also like I usually have to be in a different mental space for a different thing. Like I have to be in a different like mood for like a more like schlocky, gory movie, or I have to different for something a bit more whimsical and slice of life. So
Yeah. Well, like I think of like, have either of you ever like sat and watched 2001: A Space Odyssey?
not yet.
Okay,
I'm
don't.
very intimidated by that film.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think that you should. Here's the thing: if I tell you don't, and you're like, no, I actually still do. That's the test. Okay, that tells you want to see it. But
Yeah.
I remember sitting down and like watching it because like I'd heard its reputation, and like, man, the last 25 minutes of that movie are just colors. They're just colors. Like you've seen that thing referenced with like the eye, the up close shot of the eye blinking, and it changes colors, and like that's great. That's a cool shot. Everything that references it does that for 3 seconds. The movie does it for like 15 minutes, and it's so like perfectly suited to like I don't know if Kubrick meant for you to be high when you watch it, but man, it probably would be great to watch high.
Yeah. Well, was it
Well,
like
like-
the
comes
60s
from
or
a time where
70s that was
people-
like was it like the 60s or 70s that was the height of like watching movies while high?
It's that, but it's also like this is a very different world where people have a lot less urgency. Like if you can go to a theater and have that just be your entire plan for the day.
Yeah. And like personally, that is still how I operate. So like maybe that's why like I'm like I vibe with that. But like there's so much of that sequence, and it goes on for so long that like if you were to sit down and say, does this move the character development along? Does it move the plot along? Like probably not. But that wasn't necessarily what they were going for, especially since a lot of what you're seeing there is like stuff you could easily do with a computer now, but they had to do like crazy film processes to get it. Like it was probably more, whoa, this is crazy that they're doing this at the time. But regardless, I wish there was a way to communicate to audiences like this is the vibe we're going for with this, as opposed to just like having one default method of engagement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
No, that works. I definitely agree with that. I think
Yeah.
a lot of stuff would benefit from it being able to put a label on it of this is the attitude you should approach this with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like different people make different art, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no wrong way. There's no wrong way to engage with it. So, and that's part of also like why I like getting into videos, like video essays. Is there's some stuff I'm like, I know people aren't going to engage with it this way, but maybe they'll engage with it this way. Yeah.
I was just about to get into to ask you about Animorphs. Why Animorphs? I know you say in the video like, oh, there was a movie which has since not happened, and it's now like a Disney Plus show by Ryan Coogler or something.
Yeah, this is actually isn't this like the first time you've done anything since the Ryan Coogler news? Because that was like just a couple months ago.
Yeah,
it was fairly recent. I tend to do a ton of stuff based on like contemporaneous things that are happening. I have such a weird pet peeve where like if something dates the thing that I'm doing, I get allergic. Like if I'm like, this is happening in the news, and I'm like, okay, well then this is only fresh as long as the news is happening. What about a year from now?
Okay, because like I have to mention your essay does bring up that there's movies and developments multiple times.
And yes, I do, and like and that drives me crazy because I can't go back and update that. But I think I decided to mention it then because so before I actually made that video, me and Zach, who features prominently in all my Animorphs videos, had been like we sat down for like 3 hours having this big long like brainstorming session because what we wanted to do was make a video that was like, here's how to pitch Animorphs as a movie that would have been partially like about Animorphs, like talking about the story of Animorphs, but partially about like what you have to do to pitch a movie. Because like you don't just walk in and go, I think we should make an Animorphs movie, and they go, cool, here's $200 million. Like you need to have like, this is what it's going to look like. These are the actors, like the types of actors we might have. These are the storylines. We need to block out the plot. We need to like give them as much details. And we worked on
not
so many
people. Not enough people who watch movies know what a treatment is.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what we wanted to do because like the idea of adapting 54 like 200-page books sounds so intimidating. And we were both such big fans of Animorphs. We were like, okay, we want to try to like tackle that challenge and use that as an excuse to like examine the pitching process. And then they announced a movie, and we were like, fuck. like it was it might have been like the next day even.
Oh my
like
God.
We sat down for 3 hours talking about this, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on the script. And the next day, and after years and years of not hearing anything, to have just the cosmic coincidence of that, we were like, well, fuck it. Let's throw out the movie treatment aspect of this and rewrite it to just be about like explaining what Animorphs is.
It was interesting to get another like more diehard viewpoint on it, because I've always meant to like look at Animorphs, but I've just never gotten around to it. And before your videos, the only point of reference I had for what happens in those is a 4-hour lecture that is like a few years out of date now. But I actually went and rewatched it today. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think I did eventually watch that. I became aware of it around the time I was working on the Animorphs video, so I try not to watch like things that I like might overlap with what I'm doing, like so that I don't accidentally like lift from them. Because that can happen where like you watch something and that was a really good joke. So I try not to do that. I'm facing such a challenge right now. I'm working on a video about Pathologic 3, and it is
I know, because Ruby's also
oh like, yeah. Ruby is the best. I reference Ruby's Pathologic for those who will never play it series. I'm in that. I think I played Peter. Yeah. But
Simeon, I have to. Oh God, you weren't there for when we interviewed.
My
Ruby.
brain is blanking out completely. Is this what y'all are talking about?
Pathologic 3? Yeah,
that is the game.
It's a video game. Yeah.
Okay.
But like Ruby's a friend we had also a friend I put on the show when you were on hiatus, Sim.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Ruby is gotta be like one of the most underrated YouTubers around. Like if I could like give any channel like 1 million subscribers and financial stability, it would be Ruby's first before mine.
Respect.
Yeah. Because like so many of her video essays are like incredible just on their own, but the Pathologic, for those who will never play it series, it's one of those ideas that like I'm like, God, I'm kicking myself for not thinking of it first. But I'm also glad because Ruby does it way better than I would have. Because Pathologic as a game series is like so theatrical to begin with, but it's such a slog at times to play. And there's so many people that would like want to play it to get the story, but wouldn't want to like do all the tedious walking and the gameplay mechanics and everything to get through it. So Ruby said, okay, what if I perform the story for you?
Yeah, with all sorts of cool actors.
Yeah, exactly. And it like makes it accessible in a way that the elephant in the room whenever anyone talks about Pathologic on YouTube is obviously H Bomber Guy. Like H Bomber Guy's Pathologic is Genius video is like a landmark. So many people, I am one of those people that didn't know about the game until I watched the H Bomb video. So it's like unavoidable, but like he comes at it from a very like analytical gameplay mechanic kind of like meta-analysis kind of way, whereas I think Ruby's series is better for getting the story because it is a performance. It's a stage play, and it's so well done. And then they made 2 more videos.
Dang.
It's just so good. Sorry, I could talk about Ruby's series all day.
I'll definitely try to send her this. Be like, hey, you get your friend glazes you a lot in this one. If you need any motivation.
Everyone's allowed to ramble. It's cool.
Yeah, that's fine. No, it's great. Yeah. I was like, Ruby's a great person. Yeah. Animorphs. That I always saw the books. Like I always saw the book. Like I don't think Scholastic Book Fairs I saw them there, but I did see the books like in a specific. Like in middle school, I was in like a special needs thingy, and like there were always like a couple books like in the side of like, oh, here's just a bunch of books to like in my corner of like the work. So like, and that's kind of where I mainly knew it from. So it's like hearing like these like crazy stories, like, well, that's what's in them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, like everyone like saw like I mostly got the books from like bookstores, like a Barnes and Noble or whatever. I think I make a mistake in the Animorphs video. I say that we had monthly book fairs, and I do not think that's accurate.
Yeah, I was about to say book fairs were like quarterly for like my schools. So
yeah, they might have been like once or twice a year. I think. Excuse me. I mixed that up with the like order forms.
I think you mixed up with the release dates of the books.
Well, so there were the monthly like book releases, but there was also like I think either a school or something would have like a magazine where you could like fill out an order form to say like I want the new Animorphs book this month or whatever. I think that's what I mixed up with the book fairs.
I mean, monthly book fairs would kind of go hard. Not gonna lie,
it wouldn't it? Yeah. Either way, whenever they came through, they were just the raddest shit.
Yeah.
But no, like when I would see Animorphs books though, like at the bookstore, it was always like Animorphs and Goosebumps.
Yeah.
And if you're a kid seeing like those two, you're obviously gonna go for the Goosebumps because those are radically different every month. Whereas Animorphs is always a kid turning into an animal. And worse, the Goosebumps books are like they're a fully contained story. Like you don't need to read the last 18 books to get there. But Animorphs was serialized. You did need to know. Like, oh god, the David one. I just see you posted the David one in there. Oh my god.
I love the fucking hands in the pocket like
Yeah,
that's great.
But I posted that just to like have a direct comparison of like here's a Goosebumps next to an Animorphs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the kind of like the both extremes of like all ages storytelling when you get down to it, where it's like, do you want it to have like super episodic, like it like nothing matters from episode to episode, or do you want like there's connective tissue, there's this big story that like everyone can enjoy? It's like it's kind of like the two extremes.
Yeah, well, it's funny you picked that one in particular because like the Discovery, that is book 20 in the series, but it's also the first part of a 3-part like the David trilogy. And the David trilogy is books 20, 21, and 22, I think. So like it's like how would you even like explain to a kid like there's 19 books before this that you probably should have read, but also if you start at number 22 then you need to go back to number 20 to get that. Like it's a mess.
I mean, like that point made before, and I saw you making that point in your video, and this is like the one bit I was kind of critical of. I'm like, but that's just comic books. Kids get into comic books all the time.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, even then, cartoons like back in the day, where it's like, okay, here's a weird. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. Like I would like pull up on demand, and they would have like a bunch of cartoons. They wouldn't have every episode, so like I would have to like wait for like. So I'd have to like wade through like, okay, this is all the episodes they have of this cartoon, like of the Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. And like, okay, I'll have to wait till the next batch to like either continue the story or figure out what was happening in that previous episode, you know?
You raise a valid point. That really was just so much more the norm back then.
Yeah, it was like even during the streaming age before, like it was like all at once. Like it was just like they didn't have every single episode like on.
Oh yeah, I used to have to like record Yu-Gi-Oh episodes onto VHS tapes just to make sure I could see everything in order.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's less like it's impossible to keep up and more like you're gonna lose some people. Like you're gonna shed some audience.
It's not gonna be the 100% like marketable. Like here's everyone can jump on. And it's like sometimes it's like not everything is made for every single like entry point. You gotta like sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, we're continuing the story.
Right? Exactly.
There's always crazy long running things that have like a bunch of entries and it can get kind of confusing. But I think the reason stuff like that always exists is because it's built to attract. a specific type of person who
exactly.
If that story does work for you, then you will make yourself work around that release schedule. Like,
oh yeah,
if I didn't love the DC universe, I wouldn't make time every Wednesday to sit down and read most of the new books.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really good point, because I think like too many, especially too many people like working in like Hollywood or whatever, want some like everything to be as marketable to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So like when I say that like Animorphs is more challenging to jump onto the Goosebumps, what I'm really saying is like Goosebumps is, I think, if I recall correctly, the second best-selling franchise of all time beyond that one.
I think One Piece outsold that one. I think, but I think that might be
okay.
Like,
yeah.
Let me check books.
I haven't checked the information since making the Animorphs video. I think the second Animorphs video, but Goosebumps did numbers. Goosebumps make bank. But not everything has to do that. Not everything has to be a $1 billion franchise, or else it's not worth anything. And like what you're describing is like you're gonna find an audience that is like willing to like meet the media where it's at and like whatever format it's in and engage with it on those terms. And maybe not everyone will do that. Maybe not everyone is willing to like find the right reading order or whatever. Like I can't tell anyone to read Animorphs now without saying you should look up a recommended reading list.
Even then, it's like trying to find the books themselves without going the other methods is like a bit challenging, because like I think only like they're doing like one graphic novel like a year at this point with like the re-releases.
The most accessible way for me to get into it would be to listen to the audiobooks, but they're Audible exclusives, which means I would have to start giving money to Amazon again.
Yeah. And like, by the way,
Audible went to shit anyways. So.
Oh, it is awful. Like I tried to listen to something I already had bought from them last week, and that app has become nigh unusable.
Jeez, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
Also, since you mentioned the graphic novel, I do just want to shout out Chris Grine, who is like single-handedly drawing all of those pages. Which doing like 200 pages or whatever it is for each book, and they're coming out every 6 months. That's insane. I do not understand how.
You would be like, out of all the graphic novels I think this would be the most justified of like, oh yeah, you can get different artists for different arcs, but like, nah, he did do it himself. Damn.
There's one guy
enough of doing that's like all he's doing.
And it's not all he's doing. Oh. You're right, it should be, but I just checked his Bluesky profile, and he is working on a series called Chicken Hair. Chicken Hair is I think it's a game actually.
Oh,
okay. An artist on Chicken Hair the game. So like, it's just very prolific, very cool.
But yeah, it is another thing of you can't expect everything to work for everybody the way it's specifically designed to. You have to understand that sometimes somebody's going to come at something from a different angle, and it may reach its audience, it may not. Like, there's so many people who talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, and they're like, oh, there's so many entries, and not all of them are good anymore. And it's like, first of all, not all of them weren't good from like the third or fourth year.
Do we remember Thor?
Yeah, it's like Thor, and it's like Iron Man. Like, even for the Iron Man 1, for as fun as that
and it's not the one I like.
Yeah. Even though Iron Man 1, for as like fun as that is, didn't have like a completed script. They've always kind of been running by the seat of their pants with those.
In the same year that Iron Man came out,
still like them, and they still make a crap ton of money. Is my point.
Yeah, I think you're totally right on that, and I think the worst thing that ever happened to the Marvel Cinematic Universe was it becoming the most popular thing in the world.
Yeah,
like that was terrible for the MCU.
And making executives think you can force everything else that is nerdy to be like that. Like the attempt at Star Wars revival, the new era of Star Trek that's winding down right now. Like the thing about I even just realized this. An analogy between Goosebumps and Star Trek of
Mm-hmm.
the whole sometimes the best thing won't always appeal to the most people. Everybody
Yeah.
loves Next Generation because it's super episodic. You can just turn on an episode, and as long as you kind of understand the characters, you can get into it. That's Goosebumps. But the people who are really into Star Trek, like the hardcores, most people agree the best series is DS9, the super serialized one.
Right.
That's Animorphs.
Yeah. And I think that what a lot of people, and especially executives, don't quite get is this desire to appeal to the fans assumes that fan opinions can be generalized to broad audiences, and that there's fans, and then there's people who don't care very much, and not much in between. And there are way more circles than that. Like if you picture a series of concentric circles, fans, like diehard fans of a thing, are in the center. They are the most invested. But there's a circle outside of that where it's like, I'll watch every Marvel movie, but I'm not reading the blogs. I'm not checking to see the photos from behind the set, behind the scenes or whatever.
There's people who will watch every movie but not watch the Disney Plus shows. There's people who will do the opposite. There's people who will watch a little bit of everything. There's people who just really like Captain America, so they'll watch anything with Captain America in it.
Yeah. And I think that part of what was I people like to dunk on the MCU nowadays, and I don't blame them. They're all burnt out. But I do think there was something about the MCU model that was very clever. And I think part of it is that they created a franchise that doesn't need to keep reheating the same characters over and over.
Yeah, and that's kind of why like my weird opinion on Endgame is the end. It's everyone's like, oh, it was a perfect ending, when it was clearly just my favorite part of it was oh, they're setting up all these new characters and stuff, all these new adventures for these characters. That's my weird opinion that I feel like nobody talks about, because they always talk about man, it was either a good or bad ending. And I was like, no, it was just, but then it, whatever.
I think you're really right on that. And one thing I think that I don't know if I want to actually write about this, because it feels like no one needs to defend Endgame.
There's already enough.
We don't need Endgame video number 3062.
Yeah, right. But I will say that I think what is very clever about the writing in Endgame is that the people who want an ending get one. Literally, in my opinion, the only thing in Endgame that doesn't function, that functions to set something else up and doesn't also double function as an ending, is Loki escaping with the Tesseract.
That's the most blatant Disney Plus bait of the movie.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And the thing about Endgame is yes, it has end in the name, but it is not an ending. It is a jumping off point. And so many people don't realize that, maybe because it has the word end in the name. But so many people look at all the Marvel stuff since and they go well, they had a perfect ending. Why would they keep going? Nobody's telling you have to watch that. That's your own brain making you think oh, well, I watched everything else, I should keep watching it. And hey, guess what? You're the boss of you, not your inner you. You gotta take control of your life.
Yeah, exactly. And in real life, stories don't end. Someone gets married and they go on their honeymoon, then they've got a life after that. The wedding is the end in a lot of movies, but that's not the end in real life. Or even your grandpa dies, that's the end of his story. But his grandkids keep living. It's just overlapping stories, continuing on endlessly. And the structural, I don't want to say genius, but the cleverness of the MCU is that it allows for some stories to end while overlapping with other stories that are beginning, so they can keep making things in this universe without having to go back and be it's been 10 years, we gotta make another Iron Man, or else we can't make money. Granted, they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back anyway, but that's
in a weird way. So,
they're
I'm hoping I'm not going to eat these words, but they're at least not bringing him back as Iron Man. Please, God, don't make a mockery out of me. for saying that.
I think
See you in 2 years, buddy.
The going theory is that like it's some kind of like alternate reality time fuckery that made like Tony be Tony in that timeline instead of Doom, and this is just Doom trying to set things right.
I'm still hoping for like they just never take his mask off.
Oh yeah, apparently like the teasers don't like the behind the scenes previews for what like people have been yapping about on Bluesky to me because I can't even when I'm trying not to see like the people describe the behind the scenes stuff, I always get to see it probably because I follow a lot of comic nerds. Anyway, yeah,
you're in that inner circle.
That's like such an obvious and easy dramatic hit. I feel like it can't not at least be like a third act moment of he takes the mask off because somebody's gunning for him, and then they're just like,
yeah.
It feels like it's like likely to happen, but also like I would actually have like so much respect if they don't.
It's just but it's probably not. Oh well.
But speaking of Marvel and me joking earlier that we don't need another Endgame video, I did really appreciate your New Mutants video.
Thank you. That actually means a lot to me because I don't think most people watch that one.
Yeah, well, it's like it's a movie a lot of people I think just kind of wrote off, and you even kind of talk about that in the video. And like personally, I had always been morbidly curious about it because Ilyana Rasputin is my favorite X-Men character. But like the few things I've heard have been so middling that I've been like, would it even be worth the 2 hours or however long it is? So I've never done it. But then I saw your video and I'm like, ooh, he has kind of a hot take on it. Let's watch it and see why. And so now I'm back on the mindset of like, okay, I do need to watch New Mutants at some point.
Yeah, I think it's one of those movies that like this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where like I wish you could like say like this is how you should engage with this, because I don't want to speak for like the people who made the movie, but like I feel like the mental health metaphor is so obvious that it had to have been intentional. Maybe not, but like
I mean, I feel like even like the comic storyline that they're basing it on had a mental health metaphor, so I'm pretty sure it's at least seeped into that way. So
and they are in like a mental health facility, it seems like.
So it's not that subtle. So
but like it's definitely got a structure where like it doesn't follow the traditional superhero timing. Like there's not like in most superhero movies.
Like for me, the movie tries to be a lot of things and it kind of succeeds at like a few, but like I can't appreciate it trying something different than like the usual like superhero rhythms.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those movies where like if you're approaching it through the lens of how do I make this fit into the mold of another superhero movie, yeah, of course it fails. But if you look at it through the lens of like the specific emotional, not lesson per se, but like emotional like message it's trying to convey, through that lens, everything falls into place. And like for me, like I talked about in the video, but like that message is like how important it is to connect with the people around you, and like how you need structural support to combat and survive like your own mental health struggles and just your own struggles in general. And I love the idea of the villain like having a power that separates people. Like she isolates people. She frequently isolates people from one another. And that's not a cinematic supervillain, but it's perfect for that message, for that story. So yeah, I really like that movie, and I didn't expect to.
It goes very much to that thing of like you have to be able to take a piece of media on its own terms. Like I think a big part of the reason why people didn't care for that movie or wrote it off is because it was purported to be part of a universe that was already incredibly inconsistent and seemed like it was on its way out at the time.
And also, like, there was like so many reshoots and production, so people were just like, "Oh, it's an automatic mess," and it's like, there's a little mess in it, but it's not like, I mean, it's more consistent than like a freaking Flash or whatever.
That was also during the era where whenever you said something was having reshoots, people would freak out, and that was because people didn't understand that, like, with big budget Hollywood movies, reshoots are almost a standard practice these days.
Yeah, they really are. And like, especially looking at this movie in particular, like, so there's the plot line. Sorry for spoiling this if you haven't seen it, but like, there's the plot line with Ileana where she's like seeing, like, everyone's got like the haunting visions of like the thing they fear, and she's seeing smiling men who are like trying to grab her, and she's very afraid for her bodily autonomy. Like, it's not hard to imagine what that nightmare is about, but she's the only one that like has like this caricature version of her her fear, right? Like everyone else, the girl who like turns into a werewolf, she just pictures a priest who's trying to exorcise her. It's not a demented cartoonish version. It's just the guy. Ileana is the only one that has that. And it's really not hard to imagine a scenario where they're like, hey, so in this X-Men movie, where you've got a scene of a character being surrounded by a bunch of creepy dudes trying to grab her, maybe we need to rethink how we approach this.
Yeah, I would almost even imagine it might have been like a ratings issue. Like, take this out or you're getting an R.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, they shot it in a certain way and they're like, this will probably read fine. And then they're like, oh, this actually is way too dark for the tone of the movie we're going for.
Yeah,
or something.
Like
it happen. Yeah.
Just like especially like Fox was like they were just like the X-Men thing was just a whole clown show. Like, they didn't know if they wanted to be like, especially from what I understand, it was supposed to be like more full on horror or full on like not comedy but like lighthearted drama. Not lighthearted drama.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Yeah.
And like that's even something I've talked about with that era of X-Men movies specifically. Like anything past X3 with Fox, you kind of have to take each movie on its own terms, even when it's within a series. Like Deadpool 1 to 2 kind of works, but I'm sorry, Deadpool and Wolverine feels like a slightly different universe than the rest of those movies.
It does, and it basically is.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on that movie. I don't know if I'll ever turn them into a video, but I don't know if they mean it on purpose, but I actually kind of love the idea of the TVA as a stand-in for whoever at Marvel is coming in with a notebook and going, that's not canon.
Yeah.
And saying, you have to do it this way, because like, God, like canon becomes a tyrant at a certain point.
I like when like continuity, like I mean I get people like talking about continuity issues or whatever, like errors, but it's like at some point I'm just like, is the story good? Am I having a good time? Am I enjoying these characters? I don't care where it fits into the timeline. Like, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, I enjoy nearly every Fox X-Men movie. There's some that are just blatantly too bad to enjoy, but like I think all of the Deadpool movies are good, but Deadpool and Wolverine feels like a slightly different universe. I think most of the McAvoy and oh god, I forgot the Magneto guy's last name. Yeah, the McAvoy Fassbender movies, I think those are all pretty enjoyable, but they all feel like slightly different versions of the same continuity. It doesn't feel like a direct story.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Well, that's because it's like they like they're also decades like in universe or decades apart, but that's probably irrelevant.
I really don't understand that choice, to be honest. I don't get it.
Yeah, they should have just set all of them in the 60s, but that's a soapbox I've been known to get on from time to time. I really wish Marvel would just do a series of movies that are all in the 60s, because that's when the Marvel Universe was originally created, and I'm like, how fucking fun would a period piece Spider-Man movie be? And noir doesn't count. Noir is like a stylistic choice in my mind.
I'm gonna come out with a really hot take here. I would love for Marvel with the MCU to do a series at all.
Oh, yeah, on TV?
No, I mean like can we have a sequel to something? The closest I feel like we've gotten is Loki season 2.
Oh yeah, because it's only
where's-
just mini series. Like Wonder Man got a season 2, but that's really only because good buzz. Like,
I was so surprised by that. Like
yeah.
I haven't heard about a single like a follow-up season of Ms. Marvel.
I think that's because they were trying to do it like, oh, the Marvels, and then but
yeah,
then the
but
Marvels
like that's
flopped.
no, like I want to see. I want to see Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel season 2. I'd love to see. They set up Moon Knight season 2. Where's Shang-Chi?
Moon Knight literally ends on a cliffhanger. How is there not a second season for it? What the goddamn?
Yeah, like I really feel like a huge like thing that I'm struggling with the MCU right now is that like they'll have a movie or a series like a television show that's really good, and then I don't know. I guess I'll see it again in 10 years.
Yeah, like the time. That's just a general thing of TV
It-
too, where it's like the time is too long.
It recently came out that like of those shows, She-Hulk was the most successful with general audiences, and we still haven't heard about a second season of it either way.
Yeah, like I know some things got delayed by the pandemic or whatever, but like Shang-Chi came out in 2021. It's been 5 years. We have no idea. Like I think he's gonna show up in one of the Avengers movies, maybe.
Yeah,
I've heard that's definitely happening.
Yeah,
but he
like
does
that's so
need
long.
a sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know
if there's gonna be any more. I don't know if there's gonna be any more Thor, Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp or whatever, but like at this point, the most recent hits are like Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It might be the 2030s before we see the Fantastic Four again outside of a crossover.
Yeah, and they're already confirmed for the new 2-parter Avengers thingy. So,
yeah, and that's fine. That's good. I'm down for that. But like, I think there's a Black Panther 3 vaguely set for like 2028.
They kind of put all their chips into the Doomsday Secret Wars
like Ryan
pile
Coogler is making everything in Hollywood right now, so who knows?
Yeah, economy's a shambles.
Well, it's just funny because
let go of all the Western because they we talked about this on like a couple weeks back. They let go of a bunch of the visual effects artists, so that's even
not visual effects, concept artists.
Concept artists.
Oh yeah. Which is wild because those guys need those people more than anybody.
Yeah, most of I know people complain about CG, but it's like I think CG is cool and is a useful tool.
Oh
but you need if you don't have the people concept arting it, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell from my channel, I'm never gonna say anything bad about CGI.
Yeah,
I'm finding excuses to put Blender into everything.
I feel like that's a type of criticism that has kind of died out. I don't see too many people just blatantly complaining about CGI anymore.
Yeah, true, but it's like I always occasionally get to see the snippet of man, they should bring back hand drawn, and I'm like, guys, hand drawn does exist. You just gotta go looking for it.
Yeah. Also, if you don't think there's some hand drawn stuff happening in CGI movies,
people have to draw 3D models. That's what I'm saying.
It smacks of like that same kind of boomerish attitude of listening to the oldies station and like Bohemian Rhapsody comes on and you go like, oh, nobody's ever going to make anything as wild and experimental as this anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're on the wrong corners of the internet then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be open to cool things. Be adventurous and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think about there was a really infamous behind the scenes video for was it Barbie, I think,
where the green screens.
Yeah, where they painted out the fact that they were using green screens and blue screens, and then made it look like they did everything practically. And here's the thing: studios don't do that for no reason. They know the VFX artists did work on that. They know they did really important work on that. You can forget to give credit to somebody. You don't deliberately erase somebody's work unless you're trying to minimize how important it is.
Yeah, it's because they don't want them to be able to unionize.
Exactly.
That's the whole reason CGI animation took over from hand-drawn, because hand-drawn was unionized.
Right, exactly. And like I'm sure there's a lot of studios that would love to like just start doing AI like in the super simplified way. People think of it where you just like type in a thing and it gives you what you're looking for. And like I'm sure they'd love that. But that's not how it works. And even if it did work that way, it would only work that way by stealing from every artist ever.
Yeah.
So
and that's
like,
a legal nightmare.
right. Well, maybe. Oh God. I guess things are just legal now. So
yeah.
that's a whole separate soapbox. I'm not gonna.
Let's reel back in with we're talking about CG earlier. Beast Wars. Like I
Beast
know.
Wars.
Yeah, you were
Beast
talking
Wars!
about doing a Beast Wars video for like a couple, like for as long as I known.
Yeah.
Like for as long as I follow your channel, you always talk about like the Beast Wars video. I like
Yeah.
and like that's always been like in the back of my mind. And then like I saw the video, I didn't watch it right away because of
That's
like
fair.
it's just like, oh, that's a long boy. All right, I'll like and I'm like,
That's fair. I think when I first saw H-Bound's Pathologic video, I was like, I don't know what Pathologic is. I didn't watch it for 2
yeah,
months.
it takes
And here I am.
Yeah,
So
sometimes it takes.
I am more of a hardcore Transformers fan than Buster, and even I was like, I got to the end of the Animorphs videos, and I was like, all right, time for the Beast Wars video. Ooh, that's like half my evening, and I put it off for 3 nights.
That's fair. I try to make these things so that like. Thank you. That means a lot too because like that was my white whale for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like there were so many things that got in the way of producing that. Like I am one guy doing all this stuff. Like I do I write it, I do the editing, I shoot everything. So like
you got like interviews, you got like the 3D model commissioned.
So the 3D model, I think I found it online. Like a guy had already made it, so I didn't commission it, but I did pay him for like the use of it. Yeah. But like, so I didn't make the Dinobot model myself, but all of the animations for that I did have to do, which is why they're much more janky than the model itself.
There's a charm in that.
Yeah. But like,
it's accurate to the original show.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny, like trying to animate that stuff and being like, man, I'm having such a hard time getting this to do what I want in the 2020s.
Yeah.
Where like I can just go to like I think it's called Super Hive now and download a Blender add-on that automatically does. Or like I use Mixamo, I think, for some of the animations. Like you can just go on there and it'll upload a model and it'll animate it for you. So like that's how I got Dinobots working, and it still was a pain in the ass.
I will say the portion where you talk about the animation was probably my favorite part of the video.
Thank
because
you.
I have a weird relationship with Beast Wars. I said earlier I'm like a hardcore Transformers guy, but Beast Wars is a part of the franchise I always kind of mentally placed over there for a very long time.
Yeah.
Until just a few years ago when for the 40th anniversary of the franchise, I was like, I'm going to try and rewatch everything that's in English. And I ended up getting up to halfway through the Unicron trilogy and stalling out, but that meant I did my first watch through of Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and I was like,
sorry.
you know, as a modern viewer, I still can't stomach this animation, but the sound design and voice acting is so good that if I just put it on my phone and leave my phone in the corner while I go do something else, this is an amazing audio drama.
Yeah. Well, like I think that's fair because like I watched it on it like as it was airing. Like I remember season 3 coming out, and at the time, like in '97 or whatever, like a couple of years after Toy Story, of course, it looks amazing. Then it doesn't age well, I think, but that's
you make
largely
such
because
a good case for why it is good for the time.
Yeah,
and it's still impressive today that they were able to do everything that they did. That I've now gone from being like, yeah, Beast Wars has really good writing and acting, but that animation though, to being like, yeah, no, Beast Wars is really good on the whole. I still can't watch it, but I can appreciate why the animation is what it is.
Yeah, I think that like I sort of think of it like if you were trying to make a stop motion movie and all you have are rocks. Like you can't even shape the rocks. You can't sculpt them into anything. You just gotta stack them and hope they stack properly. Like it's the equivalent of the tools they were using. Like they just didn't exist. And I'm so impressed by what they were able to do. And also just like how seriously they took it. Like I didn't get to use it in the video. I didn't find a place for it, but there's one of the voice actors who plays Inferno, the insane fire ant who like calls Benetron my queen. What was that?
I was just thinking out loud. Is that Scott McNeil? I'm gonna look up the voice cast real quick.
Yeah, I got it first.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been.
It's Jim Brines.
Yeah, and there's an interview with him where he like someone asks him like, was that character like inspired by Shakespeare? And in not so many words, he basically says, yeah, and also like a lot of them are, because like some of these guys are like actually Shakespearean trained actors, not voice actors, like stage actors. And like they brought a lot of that to these roles, and they were like they weren't gonna like be like, it's for kids, we don't need gravitas. Like they were like, no, we're gonna do gravitas for these characters, and they just gave it their all, and I feel like it really shows.
Yeah.
I mean, like that is literally my favorite part of it. That's how I was able to finally enjoy it, was setting the visuals to the side and just listening to the voices and kind of letting my own visuals develop in the back of my head.
Yeah. And you picture something pretty sad when Dinobot dies, don't you?
Yeah. That's a good scene.
Yeah, that one still gets me.
Yeah, I remember watching that because like the way I watched Beast Wars back in the day was like I watched it on YouTube before they officially uploaded it. By the way, like
this was part 1, part 2, part 3 days.
I think this was like in between before Hasbro started copyright striking, but after like they could just upload full episodes as 20-minute chunks. Okay. So like in that weird in between, and it's like, man, when Dinobot died, that was that got to little me.
I think I'm gonna date myself here, but I realized like back when I was in some age, before you could watch it on YouTube, I was downloading Beast Wars episodes in Real Player.
Man, I do have Real Player memories, but that is like very early for me.
Yeah, it was still very early for me, but like it was the kind of thing where like I'd like start the download at 8 p.m. and then the next day I could watch the episode. And it was 240p, and where you're like, no, I'm kidding.
It's the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah. It's also funny you mentioned the episodes being uploaded as like part 1, part 2, part 3, because like so many of the like episode series, I think the ending of the series entirely was a 5-parter. Like when they actually aired it on TV, it was part 1 on Monday, part 2 on Tuesday, etc. for like the whole week. Like even TV couldn't do it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the days. No, I'm kidding.
I try to like well, like in terms of like nostalgia, like I do appreciate older stuff, but it's like I tried to like, okay, no, not everything was like, because there's a thing about like I realized like last year where it's like, yeah, just because a thing was in the past doesn't mean that it was better in the past. You could still enjoy that thing now even better. You can enjoy like the old show now even better, like in like, you know, clean up remasters. Okay, not every remaster of like a TV show of like cleaned up for like 4K or 1080p is great, but like most of them, you know, there's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of good remaster work being done.
And especially when people talk about like things being like, wait, like they don't make them like they used to. Like, okay, it's easy to look back at the highlights and be like, man, back when they made Lord of the Rings, they really put their heart and soul into those movies. Not like today. Here's the thing, though. The year Fellowship of the Ring came out is the same year that we got Bubble Boy and Monkey Bone.
Oh yeah,
and Freddy got fingered.
Oh,
like,
whoa! Don't talk shit about Freddy got fingered. That's the greatest shit post of all time.
Fair enough.
I've watched it.
It's no Lord of the Rings. I will plant my flag on that hot take. Freddy got fingered is no Lord of the Rings.
Boingo, make that the title of the episode. I double dog dare you.
But yeah, like it's really easy to like look back and be like, they didn't make him like they used to, but like we always made trash.
Yeah,
we always made like junk.
You can't just like single out like, oh, like this one thing. Yeah, everything was like that. No, there's always junk around it. Just I don't know.
Yeah,
I've just been complaining more about like nostalgia recently. So just like,
yeah,
I feel like it is easy to get like a bit doomery, especially with like nowadays, like just things, economy and stuff. But still,
it's that's also just a fact about life and getting older. You remember the thing being the best it was when you were a kid, especially if it's like a long-running franchise. You remember the era you got into it as being like the golden era because that's when you were the most excited about it. That's when it was fresh and new.
Yeah, like I haven't been like I've been like middling public about this, but like I have some health issues. Like I've got like recently had like a kidney issue or whatever. Like I'm an adult. I have adult health issues, right? So like I'm tired sometimes. I am like, man, I don't really care what movie is coming out right now because I got to go to my nephrologist. I have to know what a nephrologist is now.
Oh,
so like something's gonna occupy my mind. Something's gonna make me tired or like unenthusiastic. No shit. The movies that I really latched onto happened to be during a time period where I didn't need to know what a nephrologist is. Like things weren't better back then because no one ever made bad movies. They were better because I personally didn't have to know what a nephrologist is. So like that's just getting older.
Yeah.
But I think if you fixate on like I'm not enthusiastic about this stuff right now and I was enthusiastic then you lose the ability to like recognize there is cool shit right now. Like sorry, not to ramble too much, but I do want to recommend this one. I just watched a movie with my partner, Intergalactic, like Intergalactic with E at the beginning instead of I. And it's a gorgeous movie. I'll see if I can find a trailer to pop in there, but it's a gorgeous movie.
Oh, the Netflix one. Oh,
yeah.
It's on
I started watching this like when it came out, but then I got busy, so I never finished it. But like, I gotta finish this at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's a gorgeous movie, and I feel like if I was like 18 or something and saw that, I'd be like, whoa, this is blowing my mind. I've never seen anything like it, except for Spider-Verse. And I'm just so into this. And now I'm like, this is a really good movie. Yeah. Now off to see my nephrologist. But
But that's the thing is you have to be open to going to those other places. And
exactly.
That's how people get hung up on like, oh, well, it's not as good as I remember it being when I was a kid. Is like, well, if it's not exciting you, then go somewhere else. Like, yeah, I have my favorite franchises where I'll always keep up with what's going on, and occasionally I'll get really excited or throw a little fit. But also, like, I do try and keep an eye open for something entirely new or something I've never heard of. Like, I didn't know what Animorphs was maybe 10 years ago before that lecture I linked earlier came out, and now it's something that's on my radar of like, yeah, I would like to get to Animorphs someday.
Yeah, I think that like we are living through like the most interconnected period in history. It's so easy to find like really talented artists who maybe don't even have resources, that are doing the best they can with what they have, that are desperate for people to pay attention. There are so many people that are like desperate to say, hey, here's something good to pay attention to. So if you can't find something cool or interesting or positive to be excited about, I think that's a skill issue. Yeah. And nothing but.
We live in a current period where I feel like there's a new Kickstarter for an independent animation or toy line that's not connected to anything like every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Like There was another movie like a couple of years ago, or God, it is a couple of years ago now. Flow. Have you heard of?
Oh yeah, that won the
got
Oscar.
ads for that all the time while I was watching other stuff on HBO Max.
Yeah,
like I won the
it's
Oscar.
a really good
right?
movie.
Yeah, I mean to watch
I think
this
it did.
too.
Yeah,
it's all made in Blender.
And that's right. Like it's so crazy that it's all made in Blender, and I can't remember if it was all like nonverbal. Because
I think it was nonverbal from what my friend told me.
It was, yes. I'm sorry. I'm mixing it up with The Wild Robot, which was also a pretty good movie. That was
we watched that for a different podcast, me and Sim. So yeah, we quite enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a little bit more mainstream, but it's still like a really good movie. But like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I keep coming up with like cool movies to watch. Like, there's so much cool stuff out there. Yeah. Like, if you open yourself up to it.
Yeah, or even something I've been kind of keeping track of in the background, and I've sent to a couple of the other hosts of the podcast who aren't here tonight, but I haven't gotten around to bringing it up on the podcast. There's a Kickstarter for an independent line right now. You know, we talk about all the crap Hasbro does every couple of weeks, but like I like seeing what people are just trying to get money to put out directly online these days, and one of those things is this line, Tide Realm Corsairs, which is basically just here's a bunch of cool generic pirates. I mean, they have mythology for it. They're going to put out comic books, but it's just a Kickstarter of like, here's a bunch of super articulated pirate figures. This is how much we need to produce these.
Yeah. Well, like, I think like part of the reason that like you see studios like leaning on franchises or whatever, like instead of just saying like here's a pirate thing going Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever, is because the problem most people are trying to solve is this worth my time? Like, if I watch this, am I going to regret having watched this?
And it's that other thing we already talked about of like, you're committed, you've already watched all the other entries, why not watch this one?
Yeah, like I was talking online recently, like when you're making something, you're not competing with every other movie out there. You're not competing with platforms or whatever. You're competing with something familiar after a shit day at work. Like someone comes home from work, I'm tired, I want to put on Netflix. Should I risk watching Intergalactic, which looks like this really interesting experimental movie, or should I put on The Office for the 5th time?
Yeah,
which is more comforting.
I watched live action Avatar: The Last Airbender because that's kind of like the thing I watched when I was a kid, but it's a new remake of it.
Right. And like they're playing on that association of like it is kind of like the thing you watch, so it can't be that bad, right? Like it can't be that much worse than the thing. And even if you hate it, you're hating it because you're remembering the thing you liked or whatever.
Oh. I never even thought of it that way. Oh,
I don't even know if it's like intentional that way, but like it's you know what kind of experience you're going to have. You either like it because it's familiar, or you're going to dislike it because it's dissimilar to a specific thing you know.
Yeah,
but you know what experience you're going to get.
That way though, because that does key into the philosophical idea of everything in humanity is based around love.
Yeah. Whereas, like, if I tried to explain to someone that they should watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm going to convince them to watch that because they trust me and nothing else. Because I can't explain that movie.
Like they trust the Oscars or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why you gotta push for word of mouth. You gotta talk to people. Like, Wonder Man probably wouldn't have gotten a second season had it not been for all these influencers on Instagram going like, this is really good and completely different from anything Marvel's done recently.
Yeah. And I also wonder, like, would it have gotten a second season if it wasn't Marvel? Like, like, would it have gotten attention as like this 8-episode kind of character study thing? Because like there's not really much about it that makes it Marvel aside from Trevor being in it, and I do love Trevor. But like,
it's playing with elements of the universe that you gotta already really care about or really know. Like, I know what damage control is. I'm still that comic fan that's a little annoyed that they're very different from what they are in the comics. They're basically a replacement for Shield in this universe.
Yeah, I was still hoping for a damage control comedy. That would have been so good.
But also like I was one of those people who was defending the Trevor character from the jump with Iron Man 3.
Oh, same.
I was gonna watch that no matter what.
I'm one of the few people that really liked Iron Man 3. Trevor included. Trevor is one of my favorite parts.
It's such a perfect movie. It is the best third movie in the MCU of any of the sub-series. I will die on that hill.
I won't go that far just because every time I watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I like it more.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that one's hard for me to argue against.
I like 2 more.
I can respect that opinion. I can respect that.
Yeah.
I relate to.
I haven't watched the
Rocket,
recent.
but
I would like to rewatch 3, but I haven't done so since theaters. I should really.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone tells me it gets better and better, and I'm like, I already loved it a lot, so it's like I don't know.
I think there's a lot about that third movie that like it. James Gunn has talked about it, and he makes it explicit in the third movie that like the whole trilogy is really all Rocket's story.
Yeah,
and it really becomes clear in that movie, and I keep getting more fascinated with the High Evolutionary as a villain.
Oh yeah, High Evolutionary is great. Yeah,
he's probably one of the better villains in the MCU.
It's such a fantastic performance too.
Yeah, that too.
That
coming from Peacemaker
really be getting much more work after both that and Peacemaker season 1.
Yeah,
it's so funny in Peacemaker. He's like so subdued, and like it's a whole character point that he doesn't show his emotions. And then in Guardians 3, like, is he ever not yelling?
Yeah, or like even when he's like trying to be constrained, he has this like malice like to his voice that's like like it gives me shivers.
Was also his whole face is stretched most of the movie.
Yeah,
he's never not intense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dang, I think I need to rewatch it again. I just did like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's what a hard day at Modular Components will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just rewatch the thing you've already seen again.
Yeah. Well, see, I just did it. I'm like, do I want to watch something new? I face this problem with my partner all the time because sometimes we'd be like, we're so tired. I don't know if we can handle something new.
It is tough, especially like as a creator, because like even though I'm not much of a creator anymore, I've kind of like dialed it back a whole lot to focus on personal life stuff in recent years. I did have this moment a couple weeks ago where I was like, there's a Supergirl movie coming out at the end of next month. It's probably going to be the most people will ever care about Supergirl for a long time, and she's my favorite character in fiction. I need to focus up and rewatch and reread some stuff so I can make a couple videos.
Yeah. I would definitely appreciate that. DC's like one of the worlds I'm not as familiar with, like in terms of like the background, but I am also so hyped for that movie.
Yeah,
like,
I'm one of those people who was like, I don't dislike Marvel, but I've been a DC fan specifically since I was a little kid. Like the Bruce Timm universe, mainly Justice League Unlimited, but really all those shows made me super invested in that universe from an early age.
Yeah, I think I've always leaned a bit more towards Marvel, although like one of my first superhero things I ever got obsessed with was Smallville.
Oh,
which
I hear that more and more as I get older. No. I feel like that's a whole moment I missed.
That's understandable. I think I got the impression that like diehard DC fans didn't love it when it was coming out, and I really don't blame them necessarily.
Also, I think I may not have gotten the channel, and I was definitely too young for it when it started.
Yeah. Well, like I think it was a good jumping on point for like Superman for me, because like a thing I've always been confused about. I've been so I never understood why people treated Superman as a god, like the Zack Snyder kind of idea of he's all powerful, he can do anything, and I'm like, he can't though. Like that just wasn't my perception.
It's literally just a faulty public perception that kind of got into the zeitgeist. I think like post Wertham.
Yeah, and like I never like totally knew like exactly where it came from, but like even just the idea like he's one guy, he like physically can't be in multiple places at once. But like I always thought like the whole point of like his not being omnipotent was like his dad died of a heart attack. There's no superpower that fixes that. Like that was a core element of his character in Smallville. So I just brought that into my understanding of the character, and then everywhere else, everyone was talking about how he was like omnipotent and had too many powers, and I'm like, man, he gets his ass kicked all the time.
Yeah, especially with like the last couple of years with the lead up to the Gunn movie. That was something we talked about constantly. Is like there's a very specific characterization of Superman that movie is going for, and we got more and more hints of it as we were getting closer to the movie. And I was like, finally, we're getting real Superman on the big screen, because I love Christopher Reeve. Those first two movies are great, but that's not really my Superman. I don't like stoic God Superman. The thing about Superman that makes him special is he's a guy who can do incredible things, but he's still just a guy just trying to figure out life like all of us at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that was definitely something I loved about the Gunn Superman movie. Was there were so many times I could feel James Gunn screaming through the screen, Superman is not all powerful. Like when they put the like nanobots down his throat to try to choke him. Like, yeah, of course someone could try to do that. Like when they I'm trying to remember, there's something else they did. That
and it's hilarious because like it's also maybe the most powerful he's ever been shown to be on screen. Because there's a moment where he's literally they say like a few minutes beforehand he's at like half power, and then he outflies a black hole.
Yeah, exactly. And like he's still like crazy powerful, but like super strength and super speed and laser eyes and super breath or whatever. That's not the same as like rewriting reality. Like you could probably argue, at least within the context of the Matrix, Neo is more powerful than Superman. Like you could just make whatever you want, but Superman just do things fast and strong. Like that's not the same as being all powerful.
And even character-wise, it's a simple thing people don't get, that he is still a person who doesn't always know right from wrong, and like you can't just write him that way. Like I was listening to an interview with the guy who's writing the current main Superman ongoing a few weeks ago, and he said like when he first got the job, some of his friends who also worked at DC were like, you got the easy job, Superman. You just write him you just write him to always do the right thing. And he's like, yeah, but it's not easy to know what the right thing is all the time, man.
Yeah, exactly. And like isn't that like literally the thing that Green Goblin says to Spider-Man in that first Spider-Man movie? Like, Maniac comes along with like a ridiculous, like an absurd choice, and like Lex does that to Superman all the time in that James Gunn Superman movie. Like, he's like, do you want to deal with the city getting cut in half, or the political conflict I'm creating on the other side of the world? He even kind of puts him in like a really difficult position when he kidnaps the dog.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't punch his way out of that. He goes and confronts Lex and looks like a screaming maniac. Like, gotcha. It's just, there's so many ways to outsmart him. So
truly like one of the best superhero films to come out in recent years. We're still talking about it like it's a revelation this long after.
Yeah. Like I think that was the Superman movie I've been waiting for. Honestly, I think I could say my whole life. Because like I said, Smallville was my first introduction to Superman, and he was just a guy who was powerful but not all powerful, trying to figure out how to do the right thing. And I never ever saw that character in a movie until 2025, Arguably, briefly, with the exception of the Brandon Ruth one. I don't think that was a good movie, but I did like some scenes in
I
that one.
watched that.
That movie has its moments. It's not great.
Yeah,
it's so boring, man.
Yeah, I will absolutely go to bat for the scene where he like brings Lois up and like says like, "What do you hear?" And she's like, "I don't hear anything." He's like, "I hear everyone. I hear everyone screaming all the time, and I can't help all of them." That's Superman. The rest of the movie around it, I could take it or leave it.
But that is also like getting back to the whole like you finally got the movie that felt like your Superman movie. That is part of why I am so cautiously optimistic for this Supergirl movie, because this is soapbox I get on all the time. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna bore you for a second, Buster.
No, go for it.
But Supergirl is literally my favorite character in fiction, because when I was in my early teens, I discovered her through the DC animated universe, and just something about like this character who wasn't like an infant baby, actually got to grow up on and know Krypton, and then had it ripped away from her when she's at like her most emotionally vulnerable point in life, and then goes on to become a happy-go-lucky superhero like everyone else. I'm like, that is an incredible force of will, and it is so inspiring to see that. And like, when I was at a similar age to what she's supposed to be in her origin, seeing that for the first time, like that just instantly made me like, no, I'm committed to this character for the rest of my life. But saying that, I never really had a story that imparted that I felt like was about that specific element of the character. There are good Supergirl comics, but there wasn't like a truly great, this is why I like Supergirl, I can just hand it to anyone, until the comic that they're specifically basing this movie off of came out a few years ago. And so I'm like, even if they cut a bunch of it out, it's still going to be way closer than any other Supergirl adaptation to an adaptation that I can show to people and be like, this is why I like this character so much.
Yeah, I think like that she's one character like I'm not as familiar with. Like watching Smallville, there were so many things where I was like, I recognize this is the version of the character for Smallville, and probably not anything else. And she was one of them, I think. I was like, this is not going to be representative of anything else.
Yeah, no. Funnily enough, I think that was how I got introduced to Supergirl. Was I was trying to get into Smallville through like DVDs I borrowed from the library, and I got to that season, and as bonus features on that season, they had like a little mini documentary about Supergirl and her debut in Superman the Animated Series. You could watch on there, and I watched that before I watched the actual episode with Supergirl from Smallville, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see the movie and like kind of get more exposure to the character. I'm hoping it's like you said, like that version of the character, because that sounds so interesting.
Yeah,
like, the idea of someone who like lived through a lot of that and like had a really traumatic experience. But those characters are always so dear to my heart.
Of that comic series that is just retelling the day Krypton died from her perspective.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that could be a 20-minute sequence in the movie, and it would get Millie Alcock an Oscar if she plays it right.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah. Oh man.
Sorry, I just we haven't talked in a bit. I have to make it about me.
We're talking Supergirl.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I have to make it about me for 2 seconds. It's fine. No, no, I can. No, I really enjoyed listening to all that. Like, I genuinely do. Like, it just took a while. It just like I just don't know what to say when I'm like.
It's okay. See, if we've established one thing, not everything has to be for everybody.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Did you have anything else like want to make sure? Like, I know I go on rambles so much, so I try to make sure I make it space for
question. We had one viewer question from Malcolm Rambert on Bluesky. He had a couple. So first off, well, we kind of might touched on the first two a bit as we've talked, but like when you started first writing, how long was it before you got your first paid gig? Was the first question.
So that's kind of hard to quantify because like writing was something like I sort of like I just did.
Yeah.
Like I was writing. I was that guy who would show up in the comments section with like a 5-paragraph screed. And
you were my worst nightmare when I was making videos seriously.
Yes. I had to like cut that out like at a certain point, partially because like once I got paid for it, I'm like, why am I doing this for free?
Yeah.
But also like I realized
you eventually did the smart thing where I would always see those comments and go, why don't you just make your own video?
Yes, yeah. That's kind of how it happened. Like the abbreviated version is like I was like working an office job and reading Lifehacker and adding like 5-paragraph comments, and they're like, do you want to do this? I'm like, kinda, yeah. So, and also like I was always writing stuff like in high school or whatever, but I think like from the time that like I decided, oh, I could do this as a job to actually getting paid for it, like that was a long process over like a lot of years, and it happened in increments. Like I started freelancing for a site called Android Police, and that was like $15 an article at the time. Like it that wasn't like a full-time job. I did treat it like a full-time job, like working at it all day for like as many articles as I could get. But like I don't know, it just took a little time like finding like whoever would be willing to pay a little bit and like using each of those as a stepping stone to something else. I'm not sure if that's a satisfactory answer to the question, but that's about how it went.
The viewer asked it, so I hope they find it satisfactory.
Leave a comment. Was it a good answer?
Yeah. The other one, what were some of the biggest motivations for what you do?
Like what I do in general?
Yeah, I guess. That's what they said. That's the question.
The motivation for most of the things I do is I cannot shut up. Like I do actually have kind of a problem where like if I lose the enthusiasm for an idea, then I lose the enthusiasm to make the thing about the idea.
True.
Like
I feel that.
But like anyone I've ever dated, like all my partners now, like they can tell you every single video I've ever made started as like I watched something or I played something and I was like, okay, I got to tell you about this thing though. So this thing happened, and oh my god, I love this thing, and I just got to talk about it. And you know what? One more thing, and I just keep going, and they're like, yeah, And at a certain point, people like just lose interest in hearing. Yeah, the yapper relationship. Yeah, exactly. And at a certain point, I'm like, I've got to like get this out of my system. So what's the best format for it? And usually it's either a video or an article or something. Lately, it's been videos. And the weird thing is like once I get them done, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this that much anymore.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I can talk about Beast Wars, but like if I go the rest of my life without talking about how cool Beast Wars is, I'll be fine. But that's only because I had to put so much time and energy into that. So but like I think I really like having something I'm passionate about and having something I'm passionate to share with somebody. And I think everybody's got that. Like everybody's got something that like even more often than not, when people are like, I don't have anything to talk about, it's often like more like they don't know if anyone cares to listen. Like there's probably something like I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, I once had a friend who one time I timed this. I like he started talking, and just to see, I just like stopped responding to see how long he would go. And he talked for 8 minutes straight about the lifespan of worms.
Oh.
And I was like, I had no idea anyone knew that much about the lifespan of worms. I thought it would just be a single number, but you had a lot to say. And if I listened, you would keep saying it. You would keep talking about it. So I don't know if everyone wants to talk necessarily, but like I think everyone's got something that they care a lot about.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their special interest.
Yeah. Like maybe you're into photography and you'd really like people to look at like your photos or something, or you'd like people to listen to your music or whatever. But I think everyone's got something they're really passionate about and they would just like an audience. And I guess that's it. I needed to go find mine.
Yeah. And the final question, this one's a little heavier from what I understand. Okay, let me grab it. I lost it. Okay, now I got it. Do you worry about history forgetting who you are?
Not really. I think this is maybe like a quirk of how my brain works, but like I sort of explain to people like I have a very like multiversal view of like how life works and how time works, and like there is a version of the universe that doesn't have me in it, and I'm not in that one. And no matter what I do, no matter like whether or not people hear my name or people remember me after I'm gone, you can't ever, none of you get to exist in a universe that doesn't have me in it. So whether you feel that effect or not, like I don't think everyone feels the effect of every rock thrown in the ocean, but it has an effect. It does something, it moves some water around, and like I'd like to affect some people around me. Like my girlfriend has a kid, and I'm not like the kid was like 9 or 10 before we even started dating. Like I didn't raise this child, but like I know this child. This child is aware of me, and like done nice things for this child, and that has an impact on this kid. And maybe no one ever sees that happen, but it happened, and that's going to have some kind of effect on the universe. And I'm happy knowing I've had that kind of effect, and that's sufficient for me, I guess.
I really vibe with that. Hell yeah.
The word eloquently? Eloquent. I can't say elegant. Elegant.
Eloquent.
Eloquently put it.
Thank you.
I genuinely mean that. I not in a sarcastic way.
Ironically, Buster didn't put it eloquently, but
yes.
Mean.
It's fine. It's fine. We joke.
We bust balls here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we can let you go, or like, but
Okay.
first,
yeah,
plug your stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for
thank you for having me on. Seriously, like I wasn't expecting to like be asked questions about like my actual work, so that was very nice.
And that's what we do here. We like asking people about like, hey, you do things. What do you do? So yeah, so plug it one last time.
I am Eric Ravenscraft. I run the Lord Ravenscraft channel, and yes, that is my real last name.
Oh, legit? I forgot to ask about that. Oh my
god. yes, that is. I got it from my grandfather.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, is that the?
Who are you, Buster?
No, you go first, Simeon.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. Hi, everybody. I'm Simeon. I occasionally make stuff and put it on the internet, like videos and toy photography and dumb jokes on Bluesky. So if you want to go check any of that out, go ahead and click on my link tree, which is in the video description, or type in the links I just posted into the chat. Trying to get some new photography edited and ready for posting by the end of this month. And also, as I mentioned earlier, I'm trying desperately to get a bunch of videos ready for June on my favorite character of all time, Supergirl. So go get yourself ready for that kind of incoherent rambling.
Let's go.
Hell yeah, let's go.
And I'm Buster. I'm in one of those moods where I don't know what to do with the YouTube channel, so everything could change. But right now, I do little short bursts of, hey, this thing I played or watched was neat. Let's talk about it. So yeah, that's kind of my shtick right now. You can also find my Bluesky where I yap and repost funny things. I think they're funny. One of them has to be funny. There has to be a funny joke there somewhere. But if you
My
want,
law of averages, at least one joke has to make someone laugh.
yeah. And
That's
if
just
you want to,
math.
if you want to laugh more, you could subscribe to Modular Media, the podcast channel you're watching right now. Of course, every week there's modular components, sometimes with a guest, sometimes with just the regular boys. Then if you want to see what the other boys think about a monthly media topic, there's the book club Analytical Fanboys, which is covering a Star Wars comic this month, not picked by Cody for once. It's a running gag. Don't worry about it. And of course, whenever me and Wyatt get the time, we do In Case Break Glass, which is basically our little go into the corner and talk about movies or whatever. We are doing Sonic 3 at some point because we're doing a bunch of video game movies. That was the current arc. So Sonic 3 will be the cap off to that because we're doing the Mario and Sonic movies. So yeah. We didn't do the 90s one because we ran out of time. But yeah.
And another thing, I finally remembered to do guest announcements on the Modular Bluesky. So if you want to get questions in earlier for guests, follow us on Bluesky.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, yeah, and we managed to get at least one person in, so hopefully they're happy with the questions. We'll definitely try to do that like a week ahead because we do have some other guests lined up. So, all right, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. So, Simeon, you can stop the call and or not stop the call, stop the recording, and we'll see y'all next week for whatever happens next week.
Exciting. I'm scrolling up. Now I feel Boingo's pain now.
Yeah, use the bot.